Well. Broncos country, a mile high salute to all you guys. Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. I definitely am. It's been busy, but it's been a good day, man. And we are getting ready. I'm getting fired up for a huge game as the Broncos are getting set to battle the Ravens this week on the road, man. This is when the season starts. I've been trying to tell you guys this is when we'll really find out what this team is made of, right? But when we think about it, we'll dive into the Ravens later in the week, right? Do a lot of my research and dive into a little bit of the film. In the first part, we'll talk about what I found later on. But what I want to talk about today is where do we stack up right now in the AFC? Are the Broncos really ready to compete in the AFC right now as they currently stand at 5-3? We will get into it. But if it's your first time on the channel, or if you haven't done so already, guys, hit that subscribe button, like for the algorithm too. That would be really helpful. I appreciate that in advance. And join the ride, man. Hopefully, you guys love Denver sports, Nuggets, Avs, Broncos, everything. We got it all covered here. So appreciate you guys in advance. All right. Let's see where we're at, guys. The Broncos currently, as we know, they stand in they are 5-3. I believe right now they are the sixth seed in the AFC playoff picture. If the playoffs started today, the Broncos would actually be number 5, and they would be set to take on the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. I don't know about all that, but anyways, we're currently the 5th seed right now. It's pretty convoluted. Obviously, it's way too early to talk about playoffs, but I want to know where do you guys rank us? Where do you think we are compared to the rest of the AFC opponents? Now, these next two games are going to tell us very, very much where it is that we lie, and we'll dive a little bit into the numbers. So, through the first 8 games of the season, the Broncos offense currently is ranked 25th overall in yards. We are 20th in points scored. So, hey, that's actually sounds pretty good compared to where the hell we used to be. And for so many different years. And the Broncos currently right now they're averaging 21.6 points per game. Not nearly where you want to be. I think 24 is a good baseline, but we are getting there. We are improving. I think we're ascending. But overall in yards, we are 27th in passing offense total, and we are 14th in rushing. So, and I think the reason that we're 14th, a lot of that can be attributed to Bo Nix being able to run with his legs. We've been way too inconsistent with rushing. I think passing, you'll see us go up a little bit. On the flip side, we all know the defense is balling. Defense has been really, really good. The defense right now is ranked 3rd overall in yards and 3rd in points allowed. We are 4th in the NFL in pass yards, and we are 7th in rushing yards. So we have a little bit, we've just been solid overall. That's the biggest thing. I think one criticism I would have against the defense maybe is that we haven't necessarily been turning the ball over to the clip that I would, you'd like to see, but we were kind of spoiled last year. Defense overall has been fantastic. Um, I do think that they have a chance to struggle a lot this week, and it's going to be hard for me to not talk about the Ravens in this video. But, um, anyways, so we're a team right now that we know who we are. We're a team that is still figuring out our identity and figuring out ways to find consistency on offense. And we are a team that has a damn good defense that keeps us in every game and consistently seems to at least give us some semblance of a chance to win, as long as the offense isn't anemic, right? And we've been on a good trajectory. And it's funny because I think that this is a 5-3 team, no doubt about it. But I don't think that this is necessarily a 5-3 roster, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I think that there's been a lot of deficiencies and a lot of holes in terms of some of the talent level that we have that's been masked by Sean Payton and his coaching staff, and also by the defense not needing the offense to do crazy things in specific games. Um, but overall, man, when you stack them up against the teams that are in the playoff race, right? So let's go ahead and let's do this real quick and see if maybe we'll share some screens with you guys today. We'll share the screen. Oops. Come on now. All right. So let's look at it like this. All right. So as y'all can see here, right now the Chiefs, Texans, Steelers, Bills are all the division winners, and we're kind of clumped up in this little group here. Now, obviously, I expect the Steelers and the Ravens to flip flop a lot. It's going to be uh, difficult it's going to be difficult to predict who ultimately wins that division. but I think the one that doesn't win the division will still be one of the 3 wild card seeds. The other 2 are up for debate. Now, if you're asking me right now, these top 4 teams, I think are better than us. Obviously, the Steelers did beat us. The Steelers are tough because they're very similar to us, right? They've got a decent offense, fairly efficient. As long as they don't turn the ball over, that defense is so dominant, it gives them a chance to win games. They've had a couple of layup, easy wins, just like the Broncos have too. So they remind me a lot of myself. So maybe we can give a 50-50 there. I do think the Bills, the Texans, and the Chiefs, as currently constructed, are better than the Broncos. I also believe that the Ravens are ahead of us as well. But then you got these guys, right? These are the teams that we're going to be competing with for playoff seeds, guaranteed for sure. Like that if playoffs is going to be in our future, these are the teams we're going to be competing against. And I do believe that we're a better team than the Chargers. I do believe we're better than the Colts, even with Flacco. And I believe that we're better than ooh, I don't know if we're better than Cincinnati and Miami. Maybe. That's tough because Miami with two was a different team, but they might not even be relevant because they've kind of dug themselves into a hole. Cincinnati's just not really playing well. Like they're just not winning games, but you can't deny the talent on that roster. So we'll find out. That's going to be a huge game later in the season. But if you look at it, guys, it's kind of fascinating to see, right? That in just a matter of 1 year, not even like 7 games, a half a year, the Broncos, what we've gone from rebuilding teams. The media thinks 3 or 4 wins. They're gonna, we're gonna be picking in the top five, and next year is the year that we can maybe start to discuss playoffs. Where we're a whole year ahead of that, um, by quite a margin. So it's really surprising, even to me, who had this team booked out for 9 wins. I'm surprised by what I'm seeing by this team, and I'm really liking it. And I think that the masses are starting to see it as well. I also believe that a lot of the moves that you really had to nail, that you had to hit on in order to speed this process up, and that means like the free agents that you got this year, right? If you go through that list, you got Brandon Jones that we brought in. I think he's been wonderful. You can't say that you notice any difference with him versus what it was with Justin Simmons, right? Josh Reynolds, I think when he was healthy, he was fine. It wasn't crazy, but it wasn't a big commitment. Um, Malcolm Roach has been a stud for this team this year. We brought in some other depth guys as well. I'm trying to think of who else off the cuff. Cody Barton, he's been a really really good player for us overall. And on the offensive side of the ball, um, developing your young center, right? So we developed Wattenberg, who was drafted obviously a couple years back. Alex Forsyth is now playing, so you got some hits there. Um, so yeah, I mean, we didn't get a lot of free agents, but the ones that we did get, I feel like we did a good job hitting on those. No doubt about it. And same with the draft class, man. I mean, and you talk about even last year's draft class as well. You've got a lot of guys that are peaking and that are starting to play really, really good football. Mainly, Marvin Mims, huge contributor for us, right? That was big time. Oh, John Franklin Myers, obviously in a trade, we got him this year. He's been an absolute beast for us on the defensive line as well. Um, and then this year you got Bo Nix contributing, playing some really good ball for us. I can't wait to see what Chris Abrams drain does. But then you got Jonah Ellis is playing. You're continuing to develop a lot of these younger players. Bele's out here doing his thing. So many guys that you expect to hit on. We've done a really good job of hitting, and I think that there's a lot of room for growth there as well. So kudos to that team. Kudos to the coaching staff and kudos to the front office for bringing in the right guys, and obviously the coaching staff for developing them the right way. I think right now it's tough to get a full evaluation, even as a big Broncos fan who tries to not have a Broncos bias. I try to get on here and I'm not emotional, right? Because that's when the bias comes out. But you can't just look at it and say, "Oh, well, the Broncos haven't really played anybody," right? Because we've had games where we played some really tough teams. I mean, I know Seattle, people can say, "Oh, well, look at what Seattle is now," but Seattle's played and beat some really good opponents. Um, that was the first game of the year. Their defense was doing really well then. They've kind of fallen off a lot. Pittsburgh, obviously, you still see what they're doing. So that was a super tough game. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, that's a team that will be in the playoffs, in my opinion. I think that they're very good. Even with all the injuries, they still got a lot of talent on that team overall. The Jets, well, the Jets are the Jets, but to be fair, we played the Jets, but way before they were this much of a mess. People thought they were a mess when we played them. They're an absolute dumpster fire now. But that's a very talented roster. It's a very talented team. Raiders are Raiders. They always play us well. So the fact that we beat them was good. I think we really laid a dud against the Chargers, who are still a little bit underrated, but um, so we played some good, high quality opponents, some teams that I think will be in the playoffs already. You can't just judge us based off of beating the Saints and the Panthers. But this coming stretch will be a really big tell for where we are at, and how we stack up in the NFL. Road games against the elite teams in the conference, I think it's going to be huge. And the Broncos really missed out, in my opinion, on an opportunity to get Deontay Johnson. I think he's somebody that, especially for the cost that he went for, would have been a no brainer. As we are a team that is in need of more juice and more playmakers on this offense. However, I think that the front office, and I've said this multiple times, I think the front office and the coaching staff have a plan. I think their plan entails developing the players as much as possible, unless catastrophe happens, right? And I don't think catastrophe by any means has happened. So I do think we ultimately will make a move or two during the trade deadline, but I don't think it's going to be for anybody significant. And if anything, I think we might be the team that makes the trade, like that trades one of our guys. So we'll have to see. But overall, what do we need from this team, and what does this team need to do in order to, you know, prove that they can be a contender and prove that they can be one of the better teams in the AFC? Well, they need to be significantly more consistent on offense, starting with the consistency of running the ball. We need to be able to set the tone and control a game with running the ball. And that is going to be so evident and so important this upcoming week in Baltimore. And then the passing game, right? We just need guys to stop. I think we found a little bit more consistency with what plays to call and being able to call guys to be open. Now we just need to, either have Bo be more consistent with getting them the ball, or having the guys, you know, make the catch or survive the ground, and not fumble once they have the catch. It's just those little things. That's why I really feel like this team is close. And it's just small little things that you need to clean up. And that's really common with a team that's got a lot of young players and a lot of new faces. It takes a lot more than you guys think, just 8 games, right? Because if you break it down, there's not really been that many snaps overall. Like, the team as a whole, the Denver Broncos, up to this point, as an offense, have taken 515 snaps total, right? Of those, about more than half of them were running plays, and yeah, quite a bit more. We're half. We're running plays. So Bo Nix isn't getting a crazy amount of like reps throwing the ball. It's not as much as you would think, even though 8 games sounds like a lot, and I know you do got practice, but it's going to take a lot of gelling. It's going to take a bit more time to just clean up the really, really small things. But man, you look at where we were in weeks 1 and 2 versus where we were these last 2 weeks. It is a massive difference. Massive. I don't care about the opponent. The way that the team is playing, the way that the playmakers, or the unit as a whole is playing, is huge. So we just need more consistency there. And on defense, we need to be able to just continue being consistent, doing what it is that we can do, fortifying that pass rush and getting that pass rush rolling. The turnovers will come if we keep playing the way that we're doing, right? It's not like we're bad at turnovers. I think we're among the lead leaders, but um, you know, you always want more. You always want more turnovers overall. So not really much different we could be doing on the defensive and the special team side. We've been fantastic there. It's really about that offense and where it is. Um, this game coming up, these next 2 games are going to be a huge test. And I don't really fear, because I'm not really expecting them to necessarily win both games. I think we can. But I fear that maybe a lot of the flaws that we've been discussing and talking about on this channel might really come to light in these next 2 weeks. But I hope I'm wrong. So we will see. Stay tuned for that stuff. We're going to break down the Ravens. I'm really excited. Started watching the All 22 on them, and they're actually a really fun team to watch, man. All respect for them. They're a fun team, definitely beatable. Offense is good, very, very good. Defense, not very good, but the defense is close. So we'll get into that, guys. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think the Broncos stack up? Right now, we are, according to the standings, the fifth best team in the AFC. Fifth best out of 16 in this conference. Do you think that's about right? Or do you think right now we're a little bit lower? Or maybe you're optimistic and you think we're higher. Let me know below. Appreciate you guys. Don't forget to spend time with the people that you love the most. And until next time, everybody, peace out.